there, this is Erica from Adva Educating, and this channel is teaching tips, tools, ideas, and resources for new college instructors. The theme of this month is ways of becoming an edupreneur, so of selling your educational resources. I have talked about other ways of potentially going into entrepreneurship, such as starting a YouTube channel or a blog. But in today's video, we're talking about 3 websites you can use to sell your digital resources. So if you have handouts or assignment sheets or those types of digital downloads that you want to be able to sell to other teachers, other educators, or maybe parents who are homeschooling, right? Then here are 3 options you can consider trying to sell these digital resources. The first option to discuss is, of course, Teachers Pay Teachers. This is likely the most well-known website and resource for selling your educational resources to fellow educators. In this case, it is pretty heavily K through 12, but there are other options, like you can sell resources for college students or professional development or vocational resources, etc. This is the main page here where you can kind of see that it is more geared to younger years because it has the early and the middle. But if you go up here and you see, all these different ones, there are other categories that might, appeal to you. So if you go to specialty, you can see here that there's other, right? But vocational service, PD, physical therapy, etc., life skills. If you're a coach, for example, there's coaching as well. So there are other categories outside of just the K through 12 atmosphere for Teachers Pay Teachers. So this is, again, probably the most well-known one. As far as how it functions, if you go to the FAQs for the sellers, you can get a sense of how they do the payment process. So in this case, there's a basic seller membership and then a premium one. So for example, if you want to give it a try, maybe you'll do the basic one where there's a one-time fee of $29 versus in the premium, it's $60 a year. As far as a payout rate goes, as you can see, it is a big difference where the basic is 55% and the premium is 80%. And then again, transaction fees, 30 cents per resource with the basic, and then 15 cents for the premium if the total is less than $3, okay? And of course, there's premium features that you won't get access to if you use the basic plan. So in this case, it really depends on how invested you are in really setting up shop online here to sell your resources. One thing it does note is that if you start on the basic and you realize, actually, I want the premium, that $29 won't go towards this $60. You'll have to pay the $60 if you decide to upgrade after the fact. Another thing to consider too is how much are your resources going to cost. That might go into this as well, because if you know you're going to do a lot of very low ticket items, then the 55 versus the 80, that's a really big difference. Let's say you're selling a $1 item, you can get 80 cents on the dollar, or you can get 55 cents on the dollar. So that makes a difference too. And obviously with bigger items too, that means that you're not going to have a lot more. So let's say you're doing whole ebooks or whole lesson plans and you're selling those for $20, right? Again, you're going to have a big difference in how much you make. So if you're not really sure if it's going to work out for you, maybe you do want to try the basic, but potentially the premium might be something that you want to try first because, it's for the year. So you can decide after the year to go to the basic potentially if you want to, but it does allow you, again, a lot more on the sales to come your way, less of a transaction fee, and you do get access to premium features and marketing. So obviously marketing can be helpful for getting more sales. So that's just something to consider there. So that's the approach that Teachers Pay Teachers takes. It is a membership fee, and then there are transaction fees. Now another option, so maybe you're not in the K through 12 space and you want to consider something else, there is Classful. So this is another website where you can sell your educational resources. Now, yes, a lot of these are still in the K through 12 atmosphere, but this is more general. Nonprofits, businesses, parents, librarians, anybody who has resources they want to sell, this might be a place that they do it. So if we kind of scroll down here, as you can see again, they have a lot of younger resources here. That's more information, but they do have an area to learn more about fundraising that happens. They have featured sellers. And then again, you can browse by subject. So as you see, a lot of very similar categories to the Teachers Pay Teachers, but they also have, engineering here, right? Vocational, professional development as well, and specialty items too. So this is another option for you if you want to explore more than one place for selling resources. Now, as far as how this website approaches the whole membership or transaction aspect, it does have a different approach. So in this case, there's no subscription fee that's charged. There's no membership fee. Instead, they charge a seller fee of 5% and then a processing fee of 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. Okay, so you're not paying the $60 a year or the $30 flat out. Instead, when you sell a product, basically 8% is taken from that product as fees, and the rest goes into your pocket. So that's obviously a huge difference between the two. Teachers Pay Teachers is much more well known, so you'll probably get more traffic there. But in this case, you probably get more money in your pocket, and there's not that startup fee of the membership. So that's something to consider as well when you're comparing these two, the pros and cons. But they are both marketplaces. People can search for different resources and potentially find your educational resources. So that's a second option to consider. And then so these two are very much okay, for educators. Yes, this one goes more into nonprofits too and businesses, but the third option I want to point out is much more so this is for skilled creators, so not just for educators, but obviously educators fall into this category of being a skilled creator because you have skills in curating your educational resources. So in this case, again, it's kind of a different approach here, but this is Sellfy. So in this case, it's, again, you're selling your digital products, PDFs, audio files, videos, whatever the case may be. You can sell merchandise. There's affiliate programming. That's an option. So let's say that you are selling a lot, or potentially of another educator who is interested in selling your resources on your behalf and then just getting a cut of that profit, right? So that's an affiliate program there where they say, hey, Susan has some great resources on this website. If you, buy it, use my link or use my code or whatever the case may be, you get someone to buy your resources, and then part of that payment will go towards your friend because they brought in that sale for you. So this website allows that to happen. It's included in it. There's marketing, there's all this kind of stuff here. So again, this is a bit different, but it is, again, a place where you can sell these digital resources. So how does this work? So in this case, now we have a monthly fee, right? Because again, it's a bit different from the other two. In this case, if you have a starter pack, then it's $22 a month, up to 10K in sales per year. So if you do very well, you would have to pay more because you'd have to go up into business and to premium, depending on how much you are making. But, once again, with the starter, you get unlimited products. They're all digital. You can do subscription products. So maybe you want to start a subscription where, hey, I'm going to send monthly resources or weekly resources. If you subscribe to me for a certain amount of money, then you will get access to this subscription. So there are more possibilities here for marketing built in for you, even on the starter plan. So this is more if, you really want to make a huge business. Maybe you don't want to just sell PDFs or images, but you want to sell videos. You want to sell a subscription to your content. So that might be something that you figure out using Sellfy instead. So 3 different options here. Again, if you're watching this in your K through 12, Teachers Pay Teachers is probably your best bet. However, I think Classful is very close behind or potentially better in the sense that they don't have that membership fee. It's just the transaction fees. So you might want to do some math and figure out, well, what's better? My plan is to sell my products for X amount. How much would I make in Teachers Pay Teachers? How much would I make in Classful, right? And then you might figure out, what are the pros and cons of using the various websites. Now, something to consider here is for Classful, you know, can I sell your products elsewhere? Yes, right? So it's not like you can only sell on this website. I haven't seen in Teachers Pay Teachers if they limit you. I'm assuming not. But, you know, potentially you put it on both because, again, with Classful, you're not paying a fee, a membership fee. So maybe you pay the membership fee for Teachers Pay Teachers and you see how that goes, but then you also put your products on Classful because there's no fee, and it's just if people find you there, then great. Then it's a different way of getting paid for the same resources. So double check that that's allowed with Teachers Pay Teachers, but if it is, then maybe you do a 1-2 punch with these two websites. And then again, if you want something a bit more robust, you want to sell a subscription, etc., then you might check out Sellfy. If you found this video helpful, click like and let me know. If there's a certain one you want to try out, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Or if you're already doing it, if you have any tips and tricks, I'd love to hear them. And I'll see you next time with a new video. As a reminder, this quarter, we're going back into bi-weekly videos versus weekly videos like in Q1.